us what your name was. But equally, if you would like to show us who you are and welcome yourselves, we'd love to hear from you in the chat. So again, big hi there and hello. Who are you? Where are you from? How many cups of coffee are you on already today? And that chat function is going to be something that we'll be looking at over the course of the launch. By all means, jump in, connect with other people. If you hear something you like, flag it. If we're able to ask a question in the moment, we will. If we can't, we absolutely will get back to you. And because it's a pretty busy agenda, we do have some time towards the end for you to put the hand up or dive into the conversation and put your questions directly there. So does that all sound like a plan? I mean, you could be nodding or shaking your head and like, I can't even tell. So me and my ego will just agree that it sounds like a very good plan of action. Deal, deal, deal? Yes. Okay, splendid. So just before I introduce Jonathan, because you're up next, I do just want to take a small, maybe more calmer moment to acknowledge that we are obviously right now hyper aware of the war and the invasion in the Ukraine and the humanitarian crisis that it is causing. I know it's very much at the forefront of my mind and heart, and it feels very, very close by geographically. And so we felt that it was important to acknowledge that that is happening in our world. It's one of many crises that is going on in our world. And so I feel very privileged to be able to meet with and speak with you guys today, because there are people in the Ukraine who would do anything to be having this part of their day today and not what they are currently enduring. And so I want us to focus on the fact and remember that good will always trump evil. Okay, and what we have to do is focus on what we can do and remember that there are people in our communities, maybe in arm's reach, they may, not on a different continent, that we can help and reach out to, that we can welcome, that we can create spaces for, and that we can do really good with. So good trumps evil. And what we do today and what you guys do in your communities is good. In fact, it's great. In fact, it's absolutely amazing. So let's focus on that positivity, yeah? And in the spirit of goodness and community, let's launch this fund. Agreed? Agreed? Deal. Okay,
Agreed.
Jonathan, welcome.
Yes.
Come and talk to us all about the work that you do, our partnership, this amazing community. Is it Atlantanians?
Atlantans, maybe. I don't know.
Atlantans, baby.
Shannon, help me out here. What's the best one?
ATLians.
The Atlantic crew. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, Jonathan, the floor is yours. Say hi
Perfect.
to everybody and let's launch this fund.
Let's do it. I think, Neve, are you pulling up slides? I know you had mentioned before that you have some. Oh, yeah, I see them. I won't spend too much time because this is ChangeX's party in the community's discussion. But yeah, my name is Jonathan. I work with Microsoft on our community development team in our data center organization. So wherever Microsoft's building data centers across the world, I think we're in 30 countries. We tried to have a community development presence there. Right now, we're in 21 locations, and we have, I think, 200 data centers at this point across the globe. So quite a big presence. And in all of those locations, we're really trying to invest in people, develop communities through community partnerships. And I see a lot of the past organizations that I've worked alongside, the Conservation Fund, the Atlantic Community Food Bank. So thank you to all of you on the call that have joined up to help do this great work in the locations where Microsoft is just kind of joining Atlanta in this effort. But to ChangeX, they're one of our longstanding partners in all of the communities that we've worked in. We've seen some really amazing impact in these community funds that they've launched in Boynton, Ireland, Phoenix, Quincy, all of these different spots across the US and the world, and seeing amazing impact in terms of sustainability projects, activating community members in a time that's been really tough through COVID to get people in and out and together. And then in digital skilling as well. So big thank you to the ChangeX team. I know there's quite a few of them on the call. I'm just meeting Karen for the first time, and you're wonderful. It's an awesome job at the emceeing. Neve, thank you for putting this together. And then thank you as well to all of the community members on the call and the organizations that I've worked with. And I know Ashley Jones, she also passed along this information to her connections in downtown Atlanta, where we're building out our office site. So thank you to you all on the call as well. And then to keep it kind of quick, I'll hop over to this slide just for some background. Our team's charter, like I said, is supporting community-focused initiatives and programs that invest in individuals and develop communities. So pretty straightforward there. Our initiatives across the middle, it's building community partnerships that deliver economic, social, and environmental benefits. So basically what ChangeX does here. And we also look for local organizations that are doing that in Atlanta or anywhere else that Microsoft is investing. And then secondly, establishing an open dialogue with community leaders, organizations, and Microsoft through events like this and town halls. We hope to kind of hear back from the community what the needs are and how Microsoft can be the best business partner in these locations. And I will quickly plug to see if we can have everyone that's in on mute if possible, because I'm hearing a little bit of feedback. I think we got it. And then the last one is developing a skilled workforce. I mean, selfishly, Microsoft wants to hire the best and brightest from your communities to come work for us. So we do set up talent pipelines, but that's kind of separate and not related to ChangeX today. But we can go to the next slide. And then this is the last one. Our pillars are sort of across the top. I won't go into those. All I'll say here is we do come into a community. We try to listen through town halls and listening sessions to hear what the needs are for Atlanta, because they're obviously going to be different than Phoenix or Quincy or Dublin, Sydney, Australia. And based on what we hear, we try to invest in organizations that are in support of whatever the community highlights as the priority areas. And typically those are along the lines of these initiatives on the bottom. So workforce development, access to broadband internet, sustainability, so incorporating the environment into our data center design or bringing equitable access to clean energy. So lots of fun stuff there. And ChangeX is obviously focused on sustainability, and you'll hear more about their digital skills and transformation and activating community members. So I'll stop there. If you're interested in more of this stuff, definitely reach out to me. And I know those who Ashley invited to the call, she's doing this work in downtown Atlanta for our Grove Park and Atlantic Yard site. So I'll plug both of our emails. But with that, I'll pass it back to the ChangeX team because I want them to take back over.
You're handing me the microphone. Well,
yes.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. It feels very comfortable. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And I'm not sure, was Holly able to join us today? Because I know she loves to jump on and say hi to everybody.
I don't think she was.
No. Okay.
I'll quickly scan the chat, but I think it was just
well,
me.
We'll introduce you all to the joy that is Holly Beale and vice versa another time. But for now, I'd like to introduce you all to Niamh McKenna. So Niamh is a co-founder of ChangeX. She is our head of impact, and she's going to come and give you the other side of this beautiful partnership story. Niamh, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Karen, and thanks, Jonathan. Hi, everyone. My name is Niamh McKenna. I'm from Ireland, but based in New York, and the roof of my apartment building is currently being worked on. So you might hear some banging or hammering happening at any moment. It's just gone quiet, so I'm hoping it stays that way for the next couple of minutes. But yeah, very nice to meet you all on the call today. And we're very excited to launch our first community challenge supported by Microsoft here in Atlanta. So it's a new US city for us. Like Jonathan said, we have worked in multiple US cities and other parts of Europe with Microsoft, but it's great to be in a new part of the country today. So ChangeX it's a platform that connects communities to social innovations and funding. So we started in Ireland around 7 years ago. And the reason that we started really was because we could see that there was lots of great ideas out there and ways of improving communities, but often people maybe didn't know the ideas existed, or if they did, they didn't know how they could get involved in their local community. So we really wanted to just bring those two things together. So great ideas that already work, and then people in local communities who want to make things just a little bit better for the community that they live in, whether it's from an environmental sustainability perspective or health or inclusion or environment. So we kind of curate and package these type of innovations or ideas and then make them available to local community members. And funders like Microsoft help that to happen by providing the seed funding needed at the local community level so that people like you can find these ideas and get them started in your local community. So yeah, the Microsoft team have been really amazing to work with over the last few years and have funded so many like grassroots projects like teachers. I remember a teacher in Chicago, and I think we have one on the call today, who said like we got $2,000 from this fund, but it may as well have been $1 million because it allowed us to do something that we just wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So yeah, so big thanks to Jonathan and the Microsoft team for helping us to do this. So then, yeah, so we support the local community leaders, whether they're teachers or retirees or anyone, anywhere really can take one of these ideas and get it started. And then we kind of measure and share the impact of what's happening in local communities and aggregate that up so that we can all see, as all these ideas start in different communities across the US and different parts of the world, what the greater impact of that is. So yeah, I think that's kind of it from me. I'll just give you a quick overview of the fund that we're launching here in Atlanta today, and then I'll hand back to Karen to hear from some of the people who have done this before. So yeah, today is our first launch in Atlanta, and we have a fund of $50,000. So how it works is that fund is kind of broken down into amounts so that are allocated to each of the ideas, and those amounts range between $500 and $5,500 depending on what the idea is. So the funding is available right across the Atlanta metropolitan area. Our goal is to support around 20 projects, and the themes that we're focused on are sustainability, digital skills, and community prosperity. So hopefully, no matter what it is you're passionate about, you might be able to find something that you think will be relevant for your local community. And we have 16 different projects that you can start, and we'll hear lots more about them in just a little while. So yeah, back to you, Karen.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Niamh. Doesn't that look like a lovely slide? Like $50,000 and all those great ideas that we're going to get started. So here's the way that it works, right? The way I think of it is that ChangeX brings our beautiful platform, which is what all of you guys are going to go and access to see the ideas and go through the process. So that's our RP, platform and process. Microsoft, thank you, bring the pots of cash. So you guys provide that all important funding. And then what we need is people power. Okay, so these are the humans who actually turn the plan into action. And I'd like to introduce you to someone who did exactly that. Malka, are you here from Chicago? Who's going to come and talk to us?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Welcome, Malka. How are you?
I'm doing well. And I agree with everything you said. The grant, I received $2,500 for our first Lego League, getting it off the ground at our school. And it really could have been $1 million. It feels like it was $1 million. So I have here an award that our team received. So this is a breakthrough award. And I should mention that this, our first Lego League team that we formed from this funding was comprised of students in special education classrooms, students with autism and other low instance disabilities who found such success, such joy, and we're continuing it. So our program is going to grow and grow. So we're just so grateful to ChangeX and Microsoft, and it's amazing what this grant can do for a community. So I can't say enough.
Oh, you can say loads. I know you can. I read your starter story. Well, first of all, congratulations to you and your students on that fantastic award. That is a major achievement. Just before we kind of get into a little bit of the detail on the how, tell me why. Why did you come on the platform? What was it about that particular idea that made you think, okay, I'm going to submit an application and get this show on the road?
So my students really struggle with communication, but coding and robotics is so motivating to them. And we had already been doing robotics in our classroom on a smaller scale, but I want my students to be included in the community as much as possible. And I actually just, talking with other teachers and learning more about the first Lego League, I said, why aren't we doing this? And a big barrier was the financing of it, actually. So my students live in a very low income community. And I was talking with other teachers throughout my area and then beyond, and they were talking about how in their communities, their families have resources and they're able to purchase their own robots to practice at home. And for them to pay the entrance fee is not such a big deal. And they get a Lego table. Mm-hmm. All these costs really add up. And for my students and their families, that was insurmountable until I found the ChangeX grant. Woohoo! So I was able through this grant to purchase the robots, the Lego table, another table to be able to take so that they could take it home with them to practice, because that's what they were telling me. Other families in other communities that have the resources, they practice this at home.
Mhm.
And that was a struggle for us, especially with COVID and with at the time we were all remote, to be able to get the kits to the students and their families. That's something they couldn't do on their own. So this grant put all, that actually is how we came together and formed our first Lego League. We wouldn't have been able to do it without you guys. So thank you so much.
Oh, amazing. Like, I mean, thank you for your honesty around it all. And, the word that you use, insurmountable, that is a very definite word. And to hear that a grant of what is a significant amount of money, but not a lot in the grand scheme of things, can make such an incredible difference. And I think, you've just illustrated to us how important that seed funding is. That seed funding that just unlocks all the magicness that can happen in a team and in a community. Come here, tell everybody about the joyful moment, because I did read about this, so I have a little bit of intel. The joyful moment of go.
So we were in our judging of the competition, and the judges were wonderful. I had prepped them that our students struggle with communication, so they were really great about that, and they were all so patient and understanding, which we really appreciated. And our students were really excited and nervous, so it was hard for them to really in the moment when they were asked different questions by the judges. Some of them, it started freezing up a little bit, but they were looking. I had communication boards for them that helped. And one of the judges called on one of my students and said, "Who thought of your idea?" So this was with our innovation project. And my student, she said, "We all did." Yeah. And I have to say, my students that day coming out of that meeting, they felt like rock stars. They really did.
I love it. Little did you know, when you saw the little call to action and check this out, and would you like to do something in your community? Little did you know. And hats off to you for taking that step and taking the time to submit the application and really do it. Like, absolutely want to celebrate your students and everything they've achieved. But
oh, I'm sorry. I think my feed is freezing up a little bit. I don't know. Can you?
We're giving you love. We're gushingly giving you love. Don't worry. It's all coming at you. It's all coming.
Well, I want to give the love right back to you, because ChangeX grant, Microsoft, you guys made this really a seamless process. Anytime in the application process, if I had a question how to do something, the representative was right there, able to hold my hand through it if I needed it, help me out with different pieces and how to submit. So I would encourage anyone who's eligible to apply for the ChangeX grant. It's not difficult to apply. It's really straightforward, and the benefits are immeasurable.
Woohoo! You've just said it all. That's it. I'm locking up and going home. My work here is done. Beautiful. Malka, thank you so much. Hopefully you can stay on. There may be people who want to ask you some questions, but yeah, thank you for your time. And I'm going to have a little bit of homework to give you and everybody else in a minute. I'll come back to that now in 2 seconds. Maria, do we have Pollinator Maria?
I am here.
Oh, brilliant. Guess who just went to see West Side Story in the cinema? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm coming to you guys from San Antonio, Texas, and I was awarded $1,800 last year to create a pollinator garden here in town. And I have done that in my yard. I live on an acre, and so I was able to use that money to spread this all over the front yard and some into the back of my yard, close to probably at least half of the yard has done that. And I was interested in this project because we hear a lot about that here in Texas, because we have the monarch butterflies that come through, and Texas is a major area for that. So in the news over the last few years, I've been hearing about this and been wanting to plant a pollinator garden. And then I saw ChangeX, and whoa, it was great. And I agree, the process for applying and everything was simple and clear cut. The website's easy to use. People are super supportive. And I was able to plant all of these things and see tons of butterflies and bees and other pollinators last year. And right now we're in the part of the spring here in San Antonio where we're trimming and digging a few things up and separating and propagating so I can have more plants and spreading them out everywhere. And also planning with it's been a little difficult with COVID, although we did do a lot of Facebook Lives. We've reached hundreds of people. We've had individual tours, small group, via Facebook. We've had large groups of people watching as we saw butterflies coming out of their cocoons. We try to make that educational, and we had a few people come and tour. I'm fortunate enough the way that my front yard set up. I actually, because of this, closed off my wraparound driveway, so I can just come on the sides now, and made a walking space there and planted on both sides of that. And hopefully this year, well, not hopefully, it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. We're going to have more people coming on tours through here. And I've even thought about reaching out to some of the schools, and there's some public schools and Montessori schools and there's a daycare right up the road too, within walking distance, that maybe they could come in and take some tours. And I hope to include more signage this time and label the plants and have pictures of the butterflies and things like that. So really, I think last year's getting it set up and doing the best we can with reaching out, but this year the focus is really going to be growing it as we can with the plants, but expanding the amount of people or the folks that we can get over here to see it and experience it and just really engage the community.
Beautiful. Maria, thank you so much. That's just excellent. I mean, I knew a little bit about your project previously for sure, but even hearing it again, like in my head as you're speaking, I can see color and I can see life and I can see biodiversity and I can see people rocking around it. And like, the simplicity of being able to see the butterflies coming out of their cocoon. Like, wow. Like
that's I've never seen that. I'd seen it in videos, but I didn't even know the process. But it's so mesmerizing. You have to catch it just at the right time. But I did spend time out there, and we actually had it happening when some people were here, so people got to experience it live too. Because it's just short periods of time that these things occur, but the people happen to be here and got to witness that. So it's really been great. And again, I just engaging the community. This is really going to be the goal. In these next couple of months while the weather's good before the mosquitoes come out, to really get people out here to enjoy that.
Excellent. I love that you have a plan. I love that it wasn't a one-hit wonder. I love, that it is like part of now. This is something that is built in to the community.
Yes.
And so thank you so much, Maria. Really appreciate you taking the time again today. Hang tough with us. There may be questions coming up. You're getting some love here. People saying amazing. So inspiring. So yeah, stay with us for the now, if that's okay. So come here to me. Before we hear from some of our social innovators, I'm going to invite you all to one of the people who just makes everything a-okay. Leah is a member of our team. She is the person who puts absolute manners on people like me because she applies calm and she applies process and she just makes it all really doable. So you just heard from Malka and Maria there about how easy it is. Well, Leah is going to explain and show you with some lovely slides exactly how it works. Leah, over to you.
Thanks, Karen. Thank you for that lovely intro. So hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all. I'm Leah. I do community support here at ChangeX, and I'm excited to take you through more detail on exactly how this fund will work. So what you're seeing on your screen is the landing page. It's just gone live today, so it's very exciting. First time in Atlanta. So how does it work and how do you apply? You'll go to this page and you're going to see all of the ideas with funding available, and we'll hear about all those projects next. You're just going to select the idea that you want to start in your own community, and that will kickstart what we call our 30-day challenge. And so the 30-day challenge is a series of very simple steps that you'll go through in order to unlock your funding, which include watching a video, having a call with one of our teammates at ChangeX, forming your team so that you have support for your project, having your first team meeting, sharing a team photo, and sharing, most importantly, your action plan. These steps were all developed by our team based on our experience working with community change makers like you. So we found that teams who complete these steps within the first month are just so much more likely to be successful in completing their project. So once you've gone through the 30-day challenge, you'll receive the first installment of funding. The funding amounts range from $500 to $5,500 and differ depending on the projects you choose and how much funding is required to get them started. Then after about 3 to 6 months, we'll get back in touch with you and ask you how things are going. Hopefully they've gone super well. And we'll ask you to fill out a short impact survey and provide photo and text updates about your project. This is for sure our favorite part on the ChangeX team, to see all of the amazing impact that you all are having in your own community. And then once you send this to us, we go ahead and release the rest of your funding. So of course, throughout that entire process, we're here to support you if you have any trouble getting things started or implementing your project. We're here to help, troubleshoot with you. So who can apply? Microsoft and ChangeX both want to give anyone the resources who's passionate about making their community a healthier, more sustainable place to live. So anyone in the Atlanta metropolitan area can apply. I think there's 2 counties that are part of this challenge. And as Neve mentioned, you can be an individual, a registered nonprofit, a community group, a school. There are really no restrictions. And all that we ask is that you build a team behind you to get your project going. And then what do you get? So you'll receive the funding. You'll receive a starter pack on your choice with a general guide on, how can you start a community project in case this is your first time, as well as more specific info on how to start the specific idea that you choose. You'll have your own project page set up on ChangeX, and of course, support from us. So if you have any questions about applying or throughout the process, write to us or schedule a call, and we're so happy to help. And I'm usually the one on the other side of our customer support, chat and email. So when you see my name, you'll know who you're talking to. So add any questions into the chat box and we'll answer them at the end. But I'll pass it back to you, Karen.
Oh, lovely. Thank you, Leah. I mean, come here, hands up here, like who just wants to submit an application to be able to have a chat with this amazing woman. Like, seriously. See, it's a good job it's not me, because we'd be on the phone for 4 hours chatting about everything. Like, blah, 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 blah. So at least with you, it's like, okay, let's actually get this application submitted and the money in your bank account. Happy days. Now, we're going to hear from the ideas. Okay, so the portfolio, as we call it, the portfolio of ideas available through the Atlanta Fund that have the funding amounts ranging from, as Lee was saying, $500 to $5,500. These are they, okay? And we're lucky enough to have 4, I believe, represented on today's call. So in no specific order, I'm going to introduce and call up in the first instance, Joshua Wayne. Josh Wayne, are you here from Plant Pure Communities?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Oh, Josh, welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm here right across the highway from the Atlantic Station Microsoft group here in Midtown. Yeah. So it's great to be here with all of the Atlanta, folks here in the city, and we definitely need all of these programs. So it's really exciting.
Agreed. So listen, Plant Pure Communities, as you well know, is one of the newest ideas to join the platform. In fact, it's pretty exclusive to the Microsoft crew at this stage right now, which is very exciting. And there's been huge attention to it so far. Tell us a little bit about what it is, your own experience, because I know you're a pod leader yourself. Yeah, and what you would encourage people to do to get the new pod starting up in Atlanta.
Absolutely. So our goal at Plant Pure Communities is to build healthier, more sustainable, and kinder communities. And we work a lot with the plant-based diet. So for those that may or may not be familiar, this lifestyle helps people prevent and reverse heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and are leading killers. Personally, I had IBS and I was able to reverse terrible stomach pain. It was very, very frustrating. And 10 years later, but in order to change our diet and in order to do this, we need community members. We need people having potlucks, answering questions, and connecting. So I'm from Atlanta. I lived in Athens and started a group there. And we also have a plant-based Atlanta group. We have a plant-based Atlanta group right here with 1,700 people. And that's not my phone, but anyways, so one of the amazing things is that, when we're trying to,
You're going to hold there 1 sec, Josh. Hold. We'll just see. Could somebody, whoever has that call ring, either let's answer it and let's all say hi to them, or you might go on mute. Everybody would be cool. Go, Josh, go.
Yes. So there's groups all over the country, and I was a regional manager checking in with 160 different group leaders in 16 states. So in addition to seeing what's happening in Atlanta, I've seen that people on the ground really can use this funding to host meetings, to work with students, to just, show the joy of vegetables and, potatoes, beans, like all of the things that we really know about working with students, working with the elderly, and working. I just got back from Macon, Georgia, where there was a man. He was taking his blood pressure, and he was off his blood pressure medication in less than a week. And his blood pressure was 114/79, and he was ecstatic. People losing 11 pounds in just a few days, and so that jumpstart and helping people see this is one thing, but really building community. I like that Microsoft is putting in this effort. And for those of you in Atlanta, we have this one central group, but it could be 45 minutes to the other side of Atlanta. And so we really need to have people in every neighborhood supporting one another. And so we go to restaurants and we encourage healthy meals. We go to the hospital, like Northside Hospital recently, they got rid of their McDonald's. I mean, why they have a McDonald's in a hospital was already kind of a big question. And so we're working with community members to talk about the benefits of a whole food plant-based diet. So if you all are interested in, plant-based Atlanta, I have a group called Whole ATL. We go on hikes. I take people foraging and show them what they can eat. And even in food deserts, we have a lot of food. We live in a forest and there's so much to explore. So join my group, Whole ATL. On Facebook, and I'm so excited to be a part of this and so grateful that you all are getting funding to these community leaders because it goes a long way and we could really use it.
Agreed. Beautiful. Thank you, Josh. Yeah, it's coming into wild garlic season over here, so pesto is calling.
Yes.
Yeah, love it, love it, love it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Josh. And the next lovely innovator that we'd like to hear from is Pernille here from Cycling Without Age.
Yes, hello. Thank you so much. Good to see you, Karen and Neve and everybody. Cycling Without Age is now represented in 52 countries. It's unbelievable how much it's growing, and we have gotten a lot of support from ChangeX, and that's really cool. So the way it works is pretty much just like what ChangeX does to support local people that are driving the forces for good. And what we do is that we want to make cities more inclusive for people with, regardless of their age and abilities. It's not often very easy to get around, to meet new people, to feel welcome in the city, to even go to the forest and check out gardens and vegetables and all of those things. It takes a lot of organizing sometimes, and a lot of people, they actually never get to go outside. That's one side of this passenger cargo bike that we're using. But actually it also makes the person cycling people around really, really, really happy. And I encourage everybody to go and watch some of the little videos we've made and so on. And you can definitely see how it is something that is magical to all of the people that participate. It's like we're sitting on this vehicle together. We are creating trust. We're creating stories. We can go wherever we want. We have each other's backs. It's just a lot of fun. It creates a lot of smiles. The people that are walking by and seeing what's going on, they usually, they'll stop you when they want to know more and so on. So it's kind of a fun social experiment that is actually doing real change in a person's life, to be able to introduce them back into their cities, to make them more visible. I just want to see, Karen, I remember I did this on one of your calls as well. I want to see if I can show you a picture of what we're doing. But I'm not that good at it. Can I try it? I have a messy computer. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is an example of what might happen on one of these rides. We can just go anywhere we want. And this lady is sitting in a special kind of trishaw that Cycling Without Age is helping to develop. And she's just having a good time. and she's meeting new friends. So I think that you can kind of imagine that there are no boundaries. Anything can happen. We want to go on adventures. Yeah. So I hope that Atlanta is going to pick up cycling without age. We actually already do have, a couple of people starting up, and I've told them about the ChangeX possibility. So hopefully you're going to see a lot of these cargo bikes riding around your city.
Excellent. Excellent. Beautiful. Pernille, thank you so much. Yeah, it's such a great idea. And we've had a little bit of conversation ourselves. We know, as you were saying, the real impact, that's something so simple that we can so take for granted can. Pernille. Okay, next up we have a fellow Irish human, Donal. I see that you had joined, which is just splendid.
Hello, Karen. How are you?
Well, how's it going?
Good to see you. Hello from very rainy Dublin. It's absolutely freezing here and it's soaking outside, but I'm glad that I'm inside. How's everybody doing?
We're doing really good, actually. Now, before you jump into Grow Remote, which I absolutely love, I'm going to just see, Pernille, are you still sharing your screen, Mrs.? Will you unshare and we'll just get the ideas?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's quite all right.
Are you sure that I'm still sharing?
No, I don't think you are. I'll reshare in a second.
Sorry.
Sorry,
I don't have a
Karen.
message.
Okay, let me know if you want me to do something, because it looks like from my side that I'm not.
No, we're all good.
We're all good. Sorry, Pernille, that is me. Yes. Donal, I totally interrupted you, dude. Rock in there from rainy Dublin and tell everybody about Grow Remote and the joys of starting a chapter.
Well, I'm feeling very inspired listening to the stories from Atlanta, and yeah, I'm really excited here to be able to share a little bit about Grow Remote, and maybe we'll take a chance to make sure everybody's on mute. So Grow Remote is a non-profit community organization led by remote workers. So we were set up by a group of volunteers in 2018. So as a remote work organization, we predate the pandemic. So that gives us a bit of sort of insight and definitely pre-pandemic learnings, which have really served us well in the last few years. We focus on social impact at the local level. So this could be anything from helping remote job seekers to create the career that suits them. We also offer training to remote employees who are craving community connections. We empower companies to employ the very best international best practice in remote work. And we work all the time with community organizations and community organizers like yourselves who want to see social, economic, or environmental impact in their area. So on ChangeX, on our all-hallowed map, we have 171 chapters, which is 2 more since the last ChangeX meeting that we had, Karen. We have 28 chapters in North America, and I have a few stories from North America that I wanted to share with you. We've just completed the local leader onboarding program. So on that, we had people, community leaders, community organizers from Ireland, Italy, Spain, UK, Tanzania, and Canada, and the US. So all over the world, people who are remote workers who want to lead the communities of remote workers to have a positive impact in their area. So it's a fantastic movement that's growing all the time, and I'm really delighted to be able to share it with you. So just to give you an idea of the actual stories, or maybe some examples. So I've got 3 for you. So one of them is about sort of the infrastructure, and this is in rural Ireland. So I'm bringing you to the west coast of Ireland in County Limerick. Some of you might know where that is. It's very rural area, small village, but an amazing woman called Bridget Hayes just secured an old bank building, which was disused. It's now going to be turned into a community hub, a local co-working space. And this is by her lobbying, her campaigning, her work on the ground, grassroots, with the local county council. And she has done amazing work. She also is running her monthly meetup for remote workers in Bruff, which is the name of the village. Now we're going to go to Wyoming, where Lois, who's an inspiring chapter lead, is leading a local campaign there. And she's working on bringing training opportunities to both employees, but also employers and companies in Wyoming, and ultimately to try and provide more remote job opportunities in her hometown. So she's been talking to local politicians, local business owners, and local community leaders to try and make that happen. And we're working closely with her to, provide resources, whatever she needs to make that happen, to open doors and to make those presentations. And then in Stevensville, in Newfoundland, in Canada, we have our chapter led by Ian McDonald, and their sort of main focus. Each chapter is obviously quite distinct, and as yourselves, you know that every town, every community has its own distinct need. So theirs in Newfoundland is about remote employment, and they just last month got their first chapter member hired into a remote job after just setting up just before Christmas. So already there's a little bit of impact there. They're changing people's lives, and they're kind of examples of the array of scope that Grow Remote facilitates. And we have our international community of remote workers who are on Slack together, and we just talk about community initiatives, community programs, local events. Thankfully, more and more are offline at the minute. So it's very exciting. But any questions anybody has, I'll pop my email in there, and I'm very, very happy to answer any questions about Grow Remote.
Oh, Donald, that is just fantastic. Like, I love it. A whistle stop tour from the west of Ireland, as they say, all the way over to Newfoundland.
Absolutely.
Yeah, bravo. And listen, ChangeX is, we have a remote first policy, and as I always say, I wouldn't be able to be here if it wasn't for that. My life would not allow it. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I'm so grateful to both ChangeX, but also to organizations like yours helping champion workers like me. So yeah, bravo. And come here, the next person that we have, and thank you. You've just put your email address in there. That's superb. And then last but not least, we have Sarah. Are you here, Sarah? Who's going to come join us from Hello.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Sarah Lytle, and I am the Executive Director of Playful Learning Landscapes Action Network. And I will say we are also an all-remote organization. So thank you, Donald. I very much appreciate resources, and I always love hearing about Grow Remote. The Playful Learning Landscapes is all about transforming community spaces into joyful learning opportunities for children and families. Pre-pandemic, we know that young children were spending only about 20% of their waking hours in formal early learning environments, as being school, preschool, childcare, etc. And so for us, that means that there's 80% of time that children are in these informal learning environments. They're out in their community, they're at laundromats, they're at grocery stores, they're at local playgrounds, walking to and from these places. And so for us, it really is about capturing that 80% and inputting great high quality learning opportunities for children and families into those community spaces. Now we know that those numbers are, of course, even greater now in the pandemic. And so it really is a to create these equitable learning opportunities for all children and families. So we do.
Oh, and here's the silo patch thing.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
sorry, it's right there.
Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, let me go
so my nosy neighbor self wants to keep listening in, because I'm like, ooh, what's that conversation gonna be?
I think I got muted.
This is, Donald, one of the challenges about it being a bored remote worker. You're like, ooh, what's that? That constitutes awesome gossip. But lovely person, I don't know who you are. Go on mute. Otherwise, we're all going to be listening to that conversation. Okay.
All right, thanks, Karen. So you will find Playful Learning Landscapes on the ChangeX platform as Urban Thinkscape, and that is one of our projects, and it really is designed to turn empty lots, empty spaces in your community into these learning opportunities and really intergenerational opportunities. As much as we come from a child development focus, we know that these really engage not only parents, but elders in the community. And it really is, it creates a lovely space that's welcoming and feels like everyone in the community can belong. And we've heard from folks who have used the ChangeX platform to, transform the dark alleyway that was, a critical pathway between two places. And it now, not only feels nice and welcoming, but also has, opportunities for interaction between children and families. And we know these things work. Our data and the research that we've done on this work suggests that, you increase parent-child interactions, nearly 40%, which is just incredible. So we're all about, taking these opportunities to give those joyful learning opportunities to everyone in the community. So yes, please reach out if you have any questions. I'll put my email in the chat, and looking forward to hearing what you all in Atlanta come up with.
Bravo, Sarah. Thanks a million. Now I'm going to put you on the spot, Mrs. Have you actually used that beautiful silver food processor on your countertop behind you? Because I'm like, I covet it, but I would never use it. It would just look really good.
I will say, I don't know if you can see, I actually spent I was off camera because I was finishing bagels that I made this morning. That was a pandemic thing that I did because I'm a remote worker. So,
yay!
So I'm in Seattle, so it's still breakfast time. So I've got fresh bagels for breakfast after this meeting.
Okay. I think bagels and coffee all the time. So yeah, bravo. Okay, she actually uses her food processor, people. She actually uses it. Okay, well, thank you so much, and thank you to our social innovators who were able to come join today. Obviously, we weren't able to have everybody come on, but we have Niamh and Leah who are going to do a quick fire round intro to the other ideas that we really want you guys to consider. So who's going to go first?
I'll go first. Yeah.
Right,
Awesome. So I will walk you through a few of the remaining ideas. I wish we could have the social innovators do all of them. I always love hearing straight from the people who have created them. But anyway, first we have Repair Cafe. These are free meeting places where people come together to repair things as a team. So if you choose to start this project, you'll want to find a community meeting space. You gather all the tools and materials you might need to repair things for your neighbors. It's a great way to reduce waste while building community, keeping items out of landfills. Then we have community composting, which involves gathering people together in your community to divert food waste, yard trimmings, and any other organic materials from the landfill by composting them instead. So sending organic matter to composting facilities rather than landfills greatly lowers emissions. So it's a cool way to get your community together and all compost collectively to have huge impacts on our planet. The next one, you can start a Girls Who Code club in your community and get girls excited about coding and computer science. They have free coding curriculum that helps to inspire, educate, and equip young women with computing skills. I think it's also a great way to create, a tight group of supportive peers who can all lift one another up and kind of go through the challenges of being a young girl in our communities together. Then we have River Cleanup, which is exactly what it sounds like. So it's a community-based initiative aiming to clean and maintain local rivers. So a group of volunteers will work together to remove trash and help the natural ecosystem thrive. And then the last one you'll hear about from me is called Better Block Parklet, which is also quite new to our platform. We're really excited about this one. It's an awesome public space project where you'll reimagine what a simple parking spot can be. So you'll choose from different designs in the Wikiblock library to turn that parking spot into a space for really whatever you want it to be. It could be for play, it could be to expand business, just a place for people to come together and enjoy being outdoors. So over to you, Niamh, to describe the rest of them.
Great, thanks so much, Leah. So a couple of these, I think first Lego League, you've heard a little about from Malka and about the impact that it can have, but let me just quickly tell you how it works. So we have free First Lego League programs on the ChangeX platform for different age group of kids from, I think, 4 to 6 right up to 14. So the 3 different programs, so you can apply to start one of those in your school or community and run a First Lego League club like Malka described. You can participate in the competition and then use the funding to buy your robotics kits and support kids to in their learning, communication, collaboration, and all the various benefits that something like this can bring about. And then another technology related one is Hour of Code, which is a pretty simple idea where it's really designed to introduce kids to programming and technology through hosting an Hour of Code event, which can happen at your school or in your community. And there is like a global community of schools and organizations hosting Hour of Codes all around the world. And there is one day, I think, or 1 week where Hour of Code happens predominantly, but they can also happen at any time. And you can use this funding to buy any materials or additional items that you might need to host an hour of code and provide that kind of introduction to computer science that kids in your community may not have. And then the next one, which Maria spoke to much better than I will, is Pollinator Partnership. And that's a very popular idea on the ChangeX platform. And it's really just about, creating a pollinator habitat in your community and supporting the kind of education of people around the importance of pollinators and the importance that they have in our ecosystem. So you can do that in different ways. It might be through a school pollinator garden, a community pollinator garden. We've had pollinator gardens start at libraries and different kind of public organizations or public spaces. And the next one, and I think the last one I'm going to speak to, is open orchards. So that is, again, a little bit like what it says on the tin. It is planting fruit trees in public spaces so that they both beautify the urban environment, but also provide free fruit to people who live in the community. So this can be any fruit that grows in your area. And really, it's just about bringing people together to use public space in a different way and also provide fresh, healthy fruit to the local community. So I think that's it. Oh, did we cover community fridge, Leah?
Nope.
No, community fridge is, sorry, I don't know how that one escaped. So very quickly, because I know we don't have too long left, but community fridge is, again, another really popular idea on ChangeX, and it is all about addressing both food waste and food poverty at the same time. So community fridge is a place in a community, sometimes it's in a community center or even outside a store or even at a school, where food that would otherwise go to waste is made available to people who need it. So the food can be donated from local businesses or local restaurants or cafes, and then people who need that food can come and get it. So that's an idea that it's happening all over the world, but we work with an organization called Hubbub, who've put together a really comprehensive guide on how to set up and run a community fridge, taking into account food safety issues and things like that. So that's it from us and the ideas.
Excellent.
And I'll hand back to Karen.
Excellent. Thank you, Niamh. Okay, so a few quick things, right, which I'm going to just ask everyone to hang tough with me for a little minute. I do apologize for being a shocking MC and going over time, but sure, listen, how bad is the launch day of the first ever Atlanta Fund? What did you expect? So, I'm going to ask Noah to join us now. Put up a little message there in the chat box to say they'd love a little opportunity to talk about their idea and some of the work that they're doing. And whilst we're listening to Noah, I want everybody in the back of their mind to do two things. One of them is to share in the chat which are the top 2, 3 even ideas that you're really feeling the graw, the love, the motivation to submit an application for, which are the ones that are really resonating. And then really, really importantly, because you know what, we apply everything that we do together with this real spirit of abundance, of cooperation, of sharing, of spreading the word, spreading the love, letting as many people as we can know about this opportunity. Who are you going to tell? Who are you going to tell in your community, at your school, at your Pilates class? I did one. It wasn't for me. Who are you going to tell when you're standing at the side of a pitch? Who are you going to tell at your dentist? Who are you going to tell when you're waiting in the queue at the ATM? Who are the people in your world, in your phone, in your email, databasey, thingy-jiggy stuff, Leah, what's it called? CRM tool that you are going to let know about this amazing Microsoft Community Challenge with a fund of $50,000 behind it to create great change in your community. Okay, so Noah, come and say hello. Know that people are going to be doing a little bit of homework in the background as you're speaking. Doesn't mean we're not listening. We're just doing what change makers do, which is multitasking. Okay, and then everybody else, I want you to shout it out or put it in the chat, and let's get a real sense of collectivity. And my final ask is, given it's the first ever launch, Niamh, do you think there's a way for us all to come on screen? I know we're all sick to the back teeth of doing this because, 2 years on with Zoom, but Donal might give us a few tips. Do we want a little screen photo of our launch today, seeing as how it's the first one? Yeah? In which case, everybody fix your fringe, get rid of the lettuce off your teeth, and prepare your Zoom smile. I'll leave you think about how doable that is. Yeah. Okay.
Sounds good.
Right. So Noah, over to you.
Hey everybody, thank you, Karen, for the platform as well as Jonathan. I'm excited to hear just people ideas and stories and the work that we've done globally in the community. First of all, which is amazing, as well as the remote workers. As you guys can see, I am also a remote worker, so I can really synonymize with that. But no, so my name is Noah McQueen. I live currently in Atlanta, but I'm originally from Washington, D.C. I founded a nonprofit in the pandemic called Lifting Our Voices. It's a very much so, it started out as a passion project based upon what was going on in the environment and area. I kind of just mobilized some friends to kind of basically just help people in the community, right? Just feed people in the only space and way that we know how. At the beginning of the pandemic, I had 3 opportunities as a recent college graduate to do. 1, to work in the embassy club in Israel. 2, to work on a campaign, and 3, to do a fellowship with Michael B. Jordan in LA. And so this was amazing opportunity, amazing experience, back-to-back months from January, February, March, all, got canceled for one reason or another. COVID played a huge part in that. And so I kind of realized the privilege that I had as a recent college graduate, as well as somebody who's a first generation college student. And I said, you know what? Right now I'm kind of in a bad spot, but I can look at my community, I can look at the world, more like the global community and say, hey, what can we do? And I realized a lot of times people can feel better if they're able to, help somebody else. And so we originally started out with the just feeding a few people in our neighborhood. First Saturday we gave about 150 meals out, which is a really fun thing. We did it in my small little basement. It was extremely fun, interactive. The next week it was like, hey, let's do it again. We gave about 500 meals out. It was like, that's kind of cool. Like, we're just kind of throwing it together. And then the next week we gave out 800 meals. And so we quickly realized we had something on our hands as young college students that we could really make a difference. And so what I ended up doing was calling it, Sandwich Run. And Sandwich Run is something we've done now since May 2020. We're coming up on 4 years. We've been able to kind of hit on that community prosperity part and make huge impact in our neighborhoods. To this day, we had 3 chapters of this event. Lifting Our Voices is actually, the nonprofit. I got a chance to figure out that whole process and develop a 501c3, create a team, mobilize people. And as of now, we've given out almost 50,000 meals. We're actually at the precipice of 50,000. We're at 49,705 meals to date. And so every single Saturday, we're a mobile delivery service throughout the community. So, every single Saturday from 11 to about 2, we're a pre-packaging service. We work with community leaders. We work with churches. We've worked with the Israeli General Assembly. We've worked with the Haitian Assembly. We've worked with we actually pitched our idea last summer to Mark Cuban in the Shark Tank, in which we got 3rd place in with our organization, Lifting Our Voices. We have expanded our services to not just food insecurity and helping people experiencing homelessness. We also provide PPE items, COVID kits. We provide clothing items. So when the earthquake hit last year in Haiti, we interceded and gave about, I think, 1,800 clothing items and toiletries and blankets and pillows. So we kind of just see what issue lies and kind of create that impact. Right now, we're looking at how people of African descent are experiencing trouble right now in the Ukraine. So we're looking at very critical issues to support constantly, but our main thing is food insecurity and deprivation in the Atlanta area, because that's kind of where I specialize, our expertise. But my biggest thing is empowering our leaders, right? Because right now we all have student leaders. We're a student-led organization. So my biggest thing is asking them questions like, hey, how does people experiencing homelessness have access to clean water? Let's have this conversation. What can we do to intercede? The midterm election is here. What do you want to do about it? So that last time I proposed that question, we registered over 250 people to vote in about a month. And so, which was a huge thing because a lot were first-time voters. So we're a need-based service organization that specializes in food insecurity. And that's kind of where we are right now. We're rapidly growing and approaching. I have plans to meet with some councilmen in the area to kind of, expand a little bit. And we're actually working on a chapter in the University of Miami, Georgia Tech University, with Georgia Tech Institute, and Emory. And so by the end of next year, we plan to be doubling size, doubling impact, and doubling work. And we actually were featured last year in Barack Obama's yearly memorandum, talking about community organizations and impact. And so if you guys want links to that, I can drop that to you as well. But
Noah,
yeah, so that's a little bit about us.
Man, I gotta I gotta say, and I'm sorry for interrupting, because I can imagine there's more and more and more for you to tell, but I can guarantee there is more of you to come. Like, you are an incredible human, and I know that I share, on behalf of everybody else listening, a massive appreciation for the fact that you took what could have been a negative for yourself and considered a missing out on, and you had that crossroads moment, didn't you?
Yes,
where
ma'am.
it was like,
Yes, ma'am.
This can define me one way or another, so I'm going to either make something of it or not. And I just think you have achieved an incredible amount, and I want to thank you for that and recognize it. And I reckon, watch this space. Hands up here who thinks we're going to be seeing an awful lot of Noah McQueen. I'm telling you, dude, like, seriously. So to you and your team, and I'm really glad that we've connected now as well. I have a feeling this is not the last conversation that you will be having with ChangeX and Microsoft going forward, and certainly the rest of your crew in Atlanta. Yeah, nice one, Noah. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
So, as Noah has just inspired us all, I'm sure, has everybody else had a little chance to put everything in the chat, or would anybody like to quickly turn off their microphone and unmute themselves and say who they are, what they're going to apply for, who they're going to share this great opportunity with? Is there somebody joining? NV just said goodbye. People are being.
Yes.
Hey guys, who do we have?
Yes, my name is Robert Leach. Oops, I'm sorry. Ladies first.
I'll be quick, I promise. This is Shannon Lee with the Conservation Fund, and we work with countless community groups all over the city doing a variety of things. And so I've just been looking through the 16 different buckets there, and I can't tell you how many people. I'm already in the background, like sending out emails and hitting up Facebook. I think this is a great opportunity for community groups. So thank you guys for sharing it and for having all these amazing people on. I'm definitely going to be reaching out to get several people's contacts, especially Noah. I just want to like stand beside him and see what great things happen. So thanks everyone. This is awesome.
Thanks, Shannon.
Yay, yay. You and me, Shannon, we'll be there going, we know him. We know him. Robert, thank you.
Yes, I'm Robert Leach. I'm the Dean of Business and Public Service Technologies at Atlanta Technical College. And what we're going to do is definitely going to share it with numerous of our students and various community partners. Thank you, Jonathan, for inviting me to this call. So definitely going to make sure that we get the word out to our various partners and our students also that have various projects going on. And even the school is probably going, since I'm not the president, I'm not going to commit to what we're going to do, but I know that Dr. Sills is very progressive in doing things in the community. So we're definitely going to look at one of the 16 buckets. And Noah, please email me. I would love to have you speak at the school, and I'm saying I will love to have you speak at the school in the next few weeks. So please inbox me your information, or just look for Robert Leach. I'll put my email address in here for everyone. I would love to have you speak at the school.
I so knew that was going to happen. I was like, Noah,
Perfect.
your agent.
Perfect.
I'll just sort all of this out. I'll totally, la la la. Yeah, of course you're going to be invited to come and speak. Like, fantastic. Fantastic. This is amazing.
Perfect.
And I'm a big Shark Tank fan, so I probably saw you. I will see you.
I got
Thank you so much, everyone.
I'll send you mine.
Neve is being very polite to me here in the top screen. I'm not even looking at my phone because I'm pretty sure she's sending me Slack messages. She's like, Karen, stop talking. Close it out. People have lives and work to do. So I am going to do that. Oh my God, what a beautiful day. What an event. What a launch. What an incredible closing words. And say good luck and goodbye to everybody. People on the call, the information is there. The link is on the chat. We will send out some comms information. So don't worry if you don't remember anything or can't say who put what, where, and when. It's all going to come at you, and in a way that is relatable and shareable and then actionable. Okay, actionable. Let's take what we heard from today and turn it into action. And I can't wait to see which of you on today's launch will be speaking at next year's to encourage other people to follow suit. Okay, so Jonathan, in the spirit of resilient communities all over the world, dude, come and say hello and goodbye to everybody.
Thank you so much, Karen. You're a wonderful MC. Thank you, ChangeX team, and all of the community partners and those launching the amazing ideas. Noah, for the awesome plug at the end. And the organizations that I've worked with in the past and the new ones on the call and the community members. Big thank you to everyone. Really excited to launch this. Very excited to see it actually pop up in the community, and hopefully I can get out there soon from Seattle to come visit the bee habitats, the pollinators, the better blocks. So yeah, I'll leave it that. I'm always short. So thanks, Karen. Thanks, team. And we'll call it a day.
Excellent. Be well, all.
Thanks, Jonathan. Thanks, Karen. Bye,
Thanks.
everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye, gang. Bye, lovely humans. Have a brilliant day.